First of all, my heart goes out to both Maggie and Sean. If I were there, Dr. LaJoyce knows that I'd be trying to hug you up and just, love up on you a little bit, because trauma does not end there. Mm-hmm. And sometimes what they call it corollary victims, mm-hmm. where you survive something or you're the family member of someone who either was taken or survived these near-death experiences, being shot, being beat up even. They're in violent situations, and people just believe that you're supposed to get over it, just get past it. There is a grieving process to anything, including the loss of your innocence and your freedom to move about. It's a type of trauma where every time you walk into a club, and this may be part of your overall lifestyle, this is part mm-hmm. of what you do, but every time you go into a space like this that reminds you of that space, you have to relive that to some extent. There's anxiety. Mm-hmm. There are eating disorders that come with that. And a lot of us, especially in the African-American community, we're dealing with self-consumptive behaviors that are based upon not dealing with the trauma. So, again, I applaud the fact that both of you are here to talk about this, because the more you talk about it, it will be painful.
Yes.
It will not feel good. But, LaJoyce knows that at one point I was in the South. I was down in Jackson, Mississippi at Jackson State University. And we used to have those blues singers that would come through, and they used to say things like, it's got to hurt in order to heal. Mm-hmm. It's going to hurt a little bit in order for this to heal. Sometimes it's going to hurt a lot in order for it to heal. And then part of your healing process is also talking this out, so that you find that there are whole communities of people that are not talking. And by That's you right. saying something, it opens them up to a shared experience. There are people that are sitting around, like I said, who are eating too much, that have gotten into drinking and drugging and doing all types of things because they cannot cope with the pain that they're feeling. And so we have to get to a point where we acknowledge that this pain goes on for quite a while. And it shows up in different ways. And unless we as a larger community can look a Maggie in the eye or Sean in the eye and say, I understand, and let me know what you need. Do we just need to go to the movies today? Do you just need an ear right now? Even if it's a year from now or 5 years from now or 10 years from now, we know with every death, and then especially if someone is taken, that you have to deal with holidays for the first time. You have to deal with birthdays without these folks. You have to deal with a hole that's never going to be filled back in. And at the same time, again, you have people around you and the world is just kind of moving on like, again, get over it, get around it. That's not what we need. I need you to be whole and healthy for you and for me and for everybody else. I need you here. And there's a reason why you're still here.
You can't skip the steps either.
No, you cannot. You cannot.
But
there are folks, and again, trying to train people to understand, we have to learn how to embrace each other again and say, I understand what you're going through. I understand it. And I'm here for you to cry. If you need to cry, if you need to scream, if you need to yell and fall out, I'm going to sit right there and let you do it and hand you the tissue and hold you and give you what you need, so then we can start to heal and go through a process together.
What is it about the guns in our community where people are just shooting each other up? What is that?
It's a learned behavior. That's trauma, right? And I say that when I do the work that I do, and before my brother got murdered, I was fighting against this type of act, and I was someone who carried a gun. I was someone who shot guns not at individuals, but in protection and shootouts. I've been in shootouts myself. So I understand the mindset. And I was able to make that mindset shift, and a lot of them don't have that support around them to be able to do so. And that's it, is that society is feeding this mindset, right, through the music, movies, and everything else. So if you are young black and brown coming up in our communities, and at 5, 10, 15, this is all you seeing and all you hearing, you believe it becomes normalized. You think this is what your life is supposed to be about. You glamorize the shooting. That's the problem now.